Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of On the Bright Side. I'm your host, Caroline Susko. And let me tell you, life has been crazy lately. This podcast just starting and taking off has been so exciting, and there's just been so much going on, and I love it. And I just want to take a second to say I love you guys and appreciate you guys. So thank you so much. And today we have another special guest joining us on the pod. So let me tell you a little bit about her. She is a master instructor at SoulCycle in California, where she motivates others and brings confidence, enthusiasm, and positivity to the podium. And let me tell you, when I came across her on Instagram and TikTok, I couldn't help but to just notice all the positivity she held within her and all the positivity she radiated out. And I was like, who other than this girl to be coming on this podcast? And if there's anyone living on the bright side, it's definitely her. So with that little introduction, let me welcome our latest guest, Jamie Artsis.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, I'm so excited. So let's just start. How about you just tell us a bit about yourself? Give us a little introduction to all things Jamie.
Cool. Well, born and raised in Southern California, been an athlete my entire life, played D1 soccer at University of Michigan. So moved out there for college, obviously, and then came back here because I'm a California girl at heart and honestly could not deal with the cold weather. I don't know how you guys deal with it in the East Coast and Midwest. But yeah, just like been an athlete my whole life. And since college and graduating, I like needed something else to kind of fulfill that like competitiveness and also like team feeling, but also like pushing myself. And I came across SoulCycle and the rest was history. But before that, I worked in marketing at Nike and Sony Pictures. And, it was fun. It was great. It was good experience, paid well, but it just wasn't really, I still love marketing, but I just couldn't do the whole like 9 to 5 desk job situation. Like I needed to be up, I needed to be moving. I kind of have a little bit of ADD and I just like needed to do something that kind of like spoke to my soul. And so I was a writer at SoulCycle and then became an instructor. And like, I'm sure we'll get more into that. Now I live in Newport Beach. I moved from LA to Newport because I just couldn't deal with like the traffic and all that. So
no, but I definitely agree. I was talking to my mom the other day and I was like, I definitely want to do something with social media and podcasting because I'm just always have energy. So I'm like, I can't sit at a desk 9 to 5.
Absolutely not. I mean, honestly, like praise the people who can. Like you guys are awesome. I can't do it.
I just have too much energy for that, and I need to be talking and moving and all that. But yeah, so before we get into the topics, I like to start by saying something we're both grateful for because I think it's important that we just take time to focus on the good we have.
Absolutely.
So if you want to start with your grateful thing, you go for it.
I mean, the first thing I think of is my family, specifically my mother and my grandmother. Like they are my rock. They have been there for me since day one, obviously, but I'm just so grateful for their love and support. And, a lot of people sometimes don't have that. And that's something that I am super grateful for. Like, I don't think I could honestly like live my life without them. They're my best friend, especially my mom. Like she'll do anything for me. And I love her more than anything. And I'm so grateful for her just support and like that whatever I want to do, whatever roads I cross or any obstacles I face, she's there without a heartbeat. And I'm super grateful for that. So
yeah, no, definitely me too. Like my mom for this podcast, she's been my rock. She's been my behind the scenes, my momager.
I love that.
She's been helping me so much. So I totally agree with that. So for my grateful thing, I'm grateful for social media. I mean, sometimes it can be a curse, but it's also been able to bring like me and you together and like see other people's journeys and be able to communicate with people and lift each other up. Because I feel like social media can go both ways. One, it could be a negative, but I feel like lately it's gone into more positivity.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So everyone's more like,
yeah, that's great. Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Okay. So now I want to know all about your cycling journey, how you got there.
So sorry, I kind of like jumped ahead at the beginning, but
no, don't worry
basically like after college, I worked in marketing for like several years. And like I said, like growing up, I was a very competitive soccer player, like
Mhm.
did ODP, Olympic Development Program, did intense club soccer, went to University of Michigan and got recruited there to play. And honestly, I would have kept playing, except I had like too many concussions and had to stop like
Yeah.
after college. So came back home to California, worked in marketing at Nike and Sony Pictures and loved it, but needed something more. I needed something to kind of like feed my soul, feed, no pun intended, feed like just like that competitive drive spirit. I started running a lot after college, soccer, and like it just got so boring for me. And like I couldn't really find like a fitness activity that I loved.
Yeah.
I'm not like a huge fan of boot camp. I know people are obsessed with it. I just couldn't get on, like I just can't.
No, me neither.
I
It's not for
and
me.
so yeah. And so, did Soul Cycle, went to a class, fell in love with it,
Mhm.
started becoming like an actual customer and was obsessed while working at Sony Pictures. And it kind of like the two roads were going along parallel with each other. And I just couldn't do the whole 9 to 5 job. I was
Mhm.
tired. I didn't feel like, I don't know, I didn't feel like it was like speaking to my soul. I
Mhm.
didn't
Right.
feel like this was what I was supposed to be doing. And so I quit my job at Sony and I was like, dude, I need to be an instructor. Like I ride the bike, I practically ride the podium for the instructors.
Mhm.
I know I can do this. I know I want to do this. I want to inspire others. I want to like be part of a team again. And so I auditioned, and the audition process is kind of intense for Soul Cycle.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, you have like I don't know what it is now, to be honest. Like they
Mhm.
change it up a lot, but did like an in-person audition, and I missed the LA audition. So I like flew out to Texas overnight to audition.
The
And
dedication for that.
yes, and ended up making it. I think like for a lot of instructors, it take probably like 2 to 3 times to get a
Mhm.
call back. That's just kind of what I've heard. I was fortunate enough to just get the call back first time. And so then there was a phone interview process. They pretty much just want to like make sure like you're in it for the right reasons, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
Um, and then after that, then I flew out to New York and had training camp. It was pretty much like 3 months intense where we got coached and trained and basically taught how to be an instructor by like the masters of Soul Cycle.
That's
Um,
crazy. You wouldn't think it was that much, like that whole 3
oh
months.
yeah. I mean,
That's crazy.
yeah, like I know a lot of other like I don't know what it's like for other companies, but I just know Soul takes it really seriously.
Mhm.
So did that and then flew back and started my journey. And it was I loved it, but it's hard being an instructor at the beginning. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people like actually know on the other side of it. But especially like in California, you're driving around from studio to studio. Like I remember going to like Malibu, Calabasas, to Newport Beach, to like Santa Monica, and like you're driving up and down the coast. And with traffic and the amount of classes you're doing, and as a new instructor, like not a lot of riders are coming to your class because they don't know who you are. Like it's taxing and it's like physically and emotionally exhausting.
I
Yeah.
feel like I can relate to that, not the same level, but, like, with podcasting and starting this, it's been a long ride.
Oh
Of
yeah.
course, you have to get your name out there just like you have to do for SoulCycle, and, like,
Yeah.
you work so hard to get there that you just want
Yes.
it to get the right, attention that you deserve for
Right.
working with it. So I totally get that, yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't happen overnight. And even
Mhm.
if you are the best of the best, you have to literally just put your head down, focus, and keep hustling and have patience and keep believing in yourself because I mean, especially in this world, like no one's going to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. Number
Mhm.
one. Number two, like no one's going to put in the effort and work for you. You have to do it yourself as well.
Right.
And um ego gets in the way. So like when you're not getting the time slots you want. I'm just talking like from my like line of
Mhm.
work, like,
Yeah.
or you're not having the amount of writers in your class that you want, and you still know like you're the best. Like it's an ego trip. You're like, what the F? How much longer until I get more people in my class? Or how much longer until I get a certain time slot? Or how much longer till people know who I really am? And it's
Mhm.
I think it's like that with anything in life, with
Yeah.
anything. You got to start from the bottom and you have to work your way up. And it takes time and it takes patience and it takes commitment and it takes continuing to believe in yourself. So that's kind of like where the journey started. And
Yeah. So you have to fill me in on this. To be a master instructor, do you start as a regular instructor and then like work yourself up?
yeah.
Okay.
So like you start as an instructor and then you can get promoted to, oh God, oh my God, they're gonna kill me because I like actually don't even know the levels, but I think there's like, and it's changed so much throughout the years, but I think it's been like the
Yeah.
beginning and then you get like, I think it's like level one, level two, level three, senior, master, but it takes years. It
Yeah.
takes
No,
years and
the dedication
yeah.
from what you said is crazy. Kudos to you for doing that and staying
Uh-huh.
with what you want to do. Cause I know us going to college and stuff, everyone thinks the normal path is a 9 to 5 job. And like just to be able to do something different with that and follow yourself and just know as long as you're happy, it'll work.
Well, I mean, when I was in college, it's so different than you guys now. Like, I feel
Mhm.
like you can literally do anything these days to like make a career, make money. Like,
Yeah.
it's honestly amazing. I kind of wish I could just reverse time a little bit, but
I know, I feel
um
like social media has helped with that too, and, like, TikTok and all
yeah.
that, just getting on that and
Yeah, you can just there's so much more access to being your own business for
mhm.
yourself now versus working for someone else.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I totally agree. Okay, so when you were becoming a Soul Cycle instructor, did you always have a positive relationship with cycling? Because I know my friends and people who are in that type of career and have an interest in working out, they became like fixated on their workouts and always think, how can I do better? How can I do more? And especially with like a career like that, that's kind of how you work your way up, sort of. So, did you ever have a bad relationship, a good relationship, or how did that work?
well, I think I've pretty much always had a healthy relationship with it just because, like I said, I've always been an athlete. So, like,
Mhm,
fitness has always just been part of me and my life.
mhm.
Um, I will say when I was like a rider, I was kind of obsessed with it in terms of I was going 3, 4 times a week, and that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
um, but it was because I couldn't really find anything else I loved. So
Mhm.
I don't think it was unhealthy because here's the thing with it. If you're like obsessed with something, the word obsessed is we look at it and it's like not necessarily a great word.
Mhm. Right.
But the thing is, if it makes you feel good and it makes you feel healthy and it makes you feel complete, I'm all for it. The thing is, anything is about like balance and having a good relationship with something. So, like, practice makes improvement, right? So, the more you practice, the more you go at something, you're going to get better. So, whether
Mhm.
that's you as a rider or you as an instructor, like, the more you do it, the better you get, period. So, I am all for continuing to just do it as much as you can.
Yeah.
Now, when you want to like win at something, you have to sacrifice certain things in your life or and
Mhm.
like I remember playing soccer. You have to sacrifice your social life sometimes. You have to sacrifice going out with friends or I don't know, sleep or like traveling on vacation or whatever the hell it is. If something's important to you, that is your priority and you can't do it all. So, I think my relationship with cycling and a bike has always been healthy just because I've always wanted to be the best. And in order to do that, you have to practice over and over and over again to get there.
Mhm. So, for people who have a struggle with like, exercising and wanting to be the best, but in like an unhealthy way, what advice do you have for them to be able to still continue with what they love,
Yeah.
but do it in a healthy way?
Look, I mean, there are times when I like look at my life and I'm like, okay, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. That's not okay. And I would say that to myself. I would say that to anyone else. It's great to put a lot of your efforts into something, but you got to have a balanced life. You have to have other avenues that fulfill your soul a little bit or make you feel good. You can't depend on cycling. You can't depend on social media. You can't depend on a certain person to like fill your cup up because if you're depending on that one thing and it doesn't satisfy you the way that you are wanting it to, you're screwed. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like
Totally.
you kind of need to have like a handful of things to pick from to fill that cup up.
No, that was a good response. That was a good one. So I've been to a Soul Cycle class in New York City like 3 years ago. I went
Yeah.
there. It was so much fun and it was my first time. So even like the not even just the instructor, like the people around me, they were so inspiring and they were cheering me on just because I was
Yeah.
new there and I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I remember going out of there and I was like, I feel so motivated, so happy. And that's just kind of like the feeling I want to give to other people. How you give that to your cyclers is how I want to be able to give that to my listeners.
Oh, I love
And
that.
I remember when I saw you on my TikTok For You page, I was like, oh, she's so motivating. And you know exactly what to say to these people to get them hyped up and going. And it's such positive, motivating things. So how do you find a positive mindset and how do you maintain it?
Well, look, anything I say in class, it's what I would want to hear.
Mhm.
I'm not just talking BS. I'm not just pulling out quotes out of my butt. It's something that I like kind of need to hear for myself to keep pushing myself. So I just say that to others. At the end of the day, like life's hard. And what I love about the room and coaching on a bike is it's a replication of what life is like. Life is hard, it's ups, it's downs. Sometimes you don't want to get out of bed in the morning. Sometimes you are worried or scared like you're going to fail or you're going through something and it's really hard and you don't know if you're going to get through it. And it's
Mhm.
the same thing in the room on the bike. Sometimes you're like, yes, I have it. And sometimes you're like, holy, like, I can't keep going. I can't
Mhm.
take another step. I can't do it. And the word can't and like, I don't know. And like, it's too hard. It's all negative shit that's in your head. And with that negative self-talk, it's not going to get you anywhere. How is that going to get you anywhere in life, let alone in a workout class? So like what I like to tell my riders is you can do it. It's just a matter of if you actually believe in yourself. And
Yeah.
if you don't believe in yourself, you need to fake it until you actually do. Being negative, like I said, the self-talk, if it's all negative and it's putting yourself down, you aren't motivated yourself to want to work hard
Mhm.
because you've already failed. You've already like set yourself up for failure, telling yourself this is too hard. It's basically being like, all right, I'm out, I quit. And a lot of people, they do like to quit because they don't like to feel uncomfortable.
Mhm.
When you are uncomfortable, it challenges you in ways you don't think you can like go through with things because it's unfamiliar. And a lot of human beings are afraid to fail because it gets to their ego.
Mhm.
So, what I like to tell my riders is leave your ego to the side. It's not about your ego, it's about showing yourself that you can do it.
Mhm.
And even if it feels impossible, it's not impossible. Nothing's impossible. You just have to literally put one foot in front of the other and keep going and don't quit. Leave everyone else who's afraid to go for the challenge, let them quit, not you. You are not you like respect yourself more than that. You work too hard in life to quit. It's a
Great.
matter of respecting yourself. Treat yourself like you are your own best friend. You should be your biggest supporter, your number one fan, your best friend. If your best friend calls you and says, I can't do this, this is too hard, are you going to say, yeah, I think you should quit? Hell no. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're
Yeah.
going to be like, no, you need to get up, go at it and fight because you can do it. Just, I was going to actually quote, I was just going to quote Kim Kardashian. She's like, get your ass up and work. But like,
Yeah.
I just didn't. Um, um, but you don't know unless you try. Go for it, fight, and if you get knocked on your ass, get right back up and do it
Right.
all over again.
I'm a Pinterest person, so I like going all those quotes and stuff and looking up. But there was one and it was like, if you can't do something, you put the word yet at the end of it. Like, I can't do it yet because you're like putting it out there that
Yes,
you're going to do it at some point. It might
yes,
not be right now,
yes,
but you
yes,
have in you to do it.
yes, absolutely. I mean, it's like if you put everyone on this earth, or okay, that's being a little dramatic. Okay, let's say, have you ever ran a marathon before?
No.
Okay,
But
so
I get it.
okay, neither have I, right? But like
Mhm.
if you and I showed up to like run a marathon tomorrow and we didn't train or anything, we would get to the finish line. Why? Because in us, like I know I don't even like know you. I just met you today, but like I know you can do it. Are you gonna get like a PR and like, beat like all these other probably not, maybe you will, who knows? But like you're gonna get to the finish line. It's not a matter of when you get there or how you get there, but you're gonna get there. I like to tell the people in my room if you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. If you can't crawl, like dig your fingernails into the ground
Mhm.
and just keep moving forward
Just
because
baby stuff.
time is not stopping for us. It's not. The clock is ticking and we can't just pause time and be like, okay, like I'm ready now. Like, no, it's not about that. We have to go for shit even like when we're not ready,
Mhm.
even when we feel we're not ready, because most of the time, like you will figure out a way to get through it, to fight through it.
So with like burnouts, because I'm guessing with all the cycling classes you do, is that kind of the same focus you have too, like that energy to just keep going, keep crawling, keep working?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's hard, it's challenging, especially my class, it's very challenging,
Mhm.
but it's more than just a physical workout, like, to challenge my riders, like, they're my team really, to dig deep mentally and emotionally and figure out a way to push through. I tell them, "You have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Life is about being uncomfortable, and it's like you have to work through it. It's not going to be peaches and roses. It's the things you want aren't going to just come to you. Like you have to go get it. And most of the time you're not going to get there, but if you keep going, eventually you will. But if you
Mhm.
don't try, like you're going to regret it. When I look out on the podium and I see half my team dying and, like just looking like they want to give up and quit, I just tell them what I would want to hear, which is you can do that. If
Mhm.
I can do this, you can do this. I don't care if it's your first day, your 500th day, like you can do it. You just have to practice. You just have to keep showing up and being consistent, and eventually you'll get there.
I love that you and all the instructors of Soul Cycle, they're so motivational and high energy. But sometimes I imagine like there's got to be people in your class who are just tired or maybe thinking this instructor is way too happy, like, well, I can barely breathe. Like, the Soul Cycle skit on have SNL. Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
Where they're just like going crazy, crazy, crazy energy.
Yeah.
So what do you do when there's people in your class at some points where they're just like, oh, it's a loss to keep them going and keep them getting through your class?
I mean, yell at them. No, I'm just kidding. um, again, I'm not here to hold your hand and be like, everything's gonna be okay, sweetie. Like, I'm not here to feed your ego. I'm not here to make it easy for you. Like, that's
Right.
just
Self
not
love.
my type of class. A lot of instructors, it might be like a slower pace, or it might be like about just the soul. Like for me, it's about the soul, it's about the mind, and it's about challenging you physically as well. We train really hard, and there are people who sometimes they think that they can't do it, but that's their way or their thinking, right? Like it's all in their mind. Okay, so there's this thing that I used to say, like when I used to play soccer, it's called a
Mhm.
winner's creed. I memorized it and I used to rehearse it before every game. And it said, if you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win, but you think you can't, it's almost a cinch you won't. If you think you'll lose, you've lost. For out in the world, we find success begins with a person's will. It's all in the state of mind. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster hand. They go to the one who trusts in God and always thinks I can. So basically, like, I don't care if it's your first day. I don't care if it's your 500th day on a bike in the room.
Mhm.
Same like in life. Like, some of us are new to things, some of us have been doing it for a while. It's not about talent. It's about your will, it's about your drive, and it's about your mind. Stop putting yourself down, stop telling yourself you can't do it. Your mind, your body's going to want to quit on you sometimes, especially in class. But
Mhm.
I like to tell my riders about your mind. You have to like overpower your body and be like, I can do this. My body's just playing tricks on me. I'm just uncomfortable now. I can get through this. So I just try and be super motivational to them, reinforce that they can do this, that I'm
Yeah.
right here with them, that they have a team with them in the room, and that we're not going to let them stop or quit. We're going to
Right.
get them to the end of class.
I
So,
love that. I love that. It's everyone working together, spreading positivity, spreading happiness. And that's like what
yeah.
you guys do in that Soul Cycle room. It's like a super tight knit community in there.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm going to be real. Some days people are not positive. Sometimes
Uh,
people are quiet. Sometimes people are literally to themselves. And that's when it's up to me to push them as a unit, and try
mhm.
and overcompensate for everyone else's energy and lift them up. Like everyone has a bad day. Everyone comes in there. Everyone's got shit going on behind the scenes. And sometimes in that room, they're just there to kind of unwind and unfold and relax and just do them. And so sometimes you have to respect that. I mean, there are days when I'm having a really bad day too, but for me, I have to leave it behind the curtain and show up
Yeah.
for my team.
And
So,
then on your Instagram and stuff, like those super fun promo videos for your cycle day, like,
oh
you know what I'm
yeah,
talking about? Like, I
yeah.
feel like that also helps people to stay motivated. And like, they look so much fun. The themes, like, I saw the pool floaty one. That one killed me. That one, that one
Oh
was
my
so funny. And I was
God.
like, I got to get to her class because you know how to work these people, but like in a fun way.
Party too. Yeah.
Mhm, yeah, and
Yeah.
so Do you have any big cycle theme events coming up that you can talk about?
My go-tos are always my live DJ ride. I go all out with the confetti and the fire and the dance bombs, and like we decorate the place. It's really fun. We will probably do one in probably end of August, beginning of September, but the like annual one, if anyone's listening, I always have a birthday ride in December and I do a DJ ride, and I go all out, like probably like all my savings that I've saved throughout the year. Like I just spend it all on this ride. So
no, it looked so fun.
so people listening, look out for December.
No, definitely, guys. We'll definitely keep them updated with that, because that I was watching. It was crazy how fun it looked. So, what are your passions or interests beyond cycling?
That's a great question. I'm kind of a basic girl. By basic, meaning like doesn't take much to make me happy. I'm a sun baby. I love lying out by the pool or the beach. I love traveling. I love being with friends and just messing around, dancing, doing TikToks. Like, it's just
the
the
little
simplest things. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I know I saw some of your traveling stuff. Like, do you go a lot of places? Because it seems like you do.
I try to. Again, it's one of the things that makes me really happy. Even like a quick 48-hour trip to Mexico, like let's go.
Yeah. So. And I feel like Soul Cycle, just being an instructor, that opens so many doors of fun things and stuff.
Yeah. It's cool because there's so many studios around the country, and you can teach anywhere really. Like I've taught in New York. I want to go teach in New York again.
Yeah, you have to let me know if you do, because I will totally.
Yeah.
I'm 3 hours from the city. Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
But then I saw you too, like going, what was it, MTV Awards? Like that's so much fun.
Oh yeah, my best friend, she's kind of in the public eye, so she does all these fun things and invites me when she can.
Fun.
So yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what career goals and dreams do you have that you still want to achieve?
Woo! That is,
I'm hitting them all.
That's a loaded one. I wish I could like give you like a 20 list like answer. One thing I can talk about is, because of this career and because of my efforts in kind of branding myself, I've kind of branded myself as Jamie Cycle at Soul Cycle.
Right.
And in doing so, like I've gained a lot of followers throughout the world. And so my next kind of step is, I just taught in Guadalajara, Mexico.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was honestly one of the best experiences ever. I want to continue traveling around the world and teaching spin and just kind of branching out and expanding that community. Because at the end of the day, like this job, it's so much more than just a physical workout. It's about community and it's about gaining people. I mean, there's so many good people out there, like, again, I just love connecting with human beings and knowing more and feeding their soul and them feeding my soul and changing their lives. And also me gaining knowledge from other people and traveling around the world and teaching spin is definitely on the priority for like the next couple of years. So
yeah, that's awesome. I love that. So is there anything else that we didn't cover that you'd like to tell anyone before we go?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure this podcast reaches more of like the younger crowd. I think it's just like really important to spread a couple messages that I wish I really had ingrained when I was younger, which is number one, especially with like the world we're in and social media, like, yeah, it can be great, but it's also toxic. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Stop looking at the other side of the fence. Stay in your lane. You are meant to be on the path you're supposed to be at. Stop comparing yourself to her and him and like know and trust that like you are doing the best that you can with what's given to you, and your time will come. Things that you want will happen. You just have to keep grinding and keep going and keep moving forward, and just positive mindset. Like stop letting the failures of life get you down. There's so many times when I just want to like crawl up in a ball and cry because I didn't get something I wanted, or like I didn't get that certain thing that I've been fighting for, or I was told no for this or whatever, especially for students in their 20s or even, how old are you?
20.
20. Yeah. You got some years ahead of you, girl. And like, live it up. You are so young still, and like you have your whole life ahead of you. Enjoy the now because, especially in school, people were so worried about the future and jobs and all that. But like life is gonna be there. It's hard. It's always gonna be hard. It's always gonna be challenging, and life is always gonna be there. But the good times and like being young and not like having as many responsibilities as when you're older, just really enjoy the process of being young and like having fun because once you get older, it's a
just
little more
soaking that up.
stressful.
Yeah. Because you're only a kid once, you're only a teenager once, so just stay in those years and everything else will come when that time's ready to come.
But one more thing.
Yes.
Sorry,
No,
I'm like chatting now. Stop worrying about what other people think about you. Just don't do it. I remember when I was younger, I was so worried what everyone else thought. And it took me years to like actually be confident in my own skin and like know like this is me, like, and own it. But when you're younger, sometimes you have the influence of your friends or social media or your parents or whatever. And of course, you want to respect people's opinions and stuff, but ultimately it's all about like how you feel about yourself. When you go to bed at night and when you wake up in the morning, if you feel good about yourself, you can take on the world. So believe in yourself.
That's definitely something I had to work on. I just cared what other people thought. It took me like a good year, but then I was like, this is me. This is what I want to do. I'm happy with myself. And I know I have that positive energy to bring to people. And like,
there you go.
At the end of the day, like people are going to remember me for what I did, not what I looked like or, like all that.
Yeah, it's your life. It's your life and it could end in a month. It can end tomorrow. So you have to do what literally makes you happy and no one else.
Of course. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jamie, for coming on and sharing some of your journey. This is such a special episode and I'm so excited to share it. And thank you for always being so positive and spreading joy wherever you go.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Jamie's socials are linked in the description. And if you're listening from or plan to visit the Newport, California area, go take Jamie's class, have fun with her, get empowered, and let me know how much fun it is. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please leave a review wherever you listen to your podcast. And if you have any topics, ideas, I'd love to hear them. So email me at onthebrightsidepod20@gmail.com. And until next time, always remember to stay looking on the bright side. And I promise you, it'll serve you really well. Love you guys. Bye.